The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series heads to Darlington Speedway, and we see a lot of chaos, a lot of great racing, and a driver that's been due for a win this season finally picks up their first victory of the season. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. I just got done watching NASCAR Truck Series race from Darlington Speedway. They did on Tools 200. We've got a lot to talk about from the race. Let's go ahead and talk about it. So, before the green flag drop in today's race, the race actually got delayed a little bit for about 20 minutes. The rain had been a concern throughout the day, and really we didn't think we were going to get the full race in, but we were able to get it in. But the race got delayed for about 20-30 minutes, and the green flag would not drop till around 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time location I am in. A couple guys would have to drop to the rear. Tate Fogle would actually have to drop to the rear for unapproved adjustments. And Brendan Poole, unfortunately, for the green flag even dropped, he would have to get pushed back to the garage, which is unfortunate because he qualified really, really well tonight. I think qualified around 27-20, which is really good for Glory to God Racing. But he had to go to the garage due to lead engine issues. So now let's jump into the race. So on the outside, you had Hunter Nemechek, who really won the pole in crazy fashion by almost 4/10 over Ty Majeski, and Ty Majeski on the outside. And Hunter Nemechek was able to get the lead and dominate. There was a lot of crazy racing really in the early portions of the race. Guys going side by side, back and forth, moves being made that were absolutely chaotic. On lap 7, the first caution race would come out for the Rayum trucks of Josh Rayum and Akinari Orgata. It was a really, really weird incident. Akinari Orgata, I think, got turned by Josh Rayum, and they both got into the outside wall. Unfortunate situation for Rain Brothers organization, who do not have a lot of owners points coming into the evening. Both of them, unfortunately, would get in damage, but they would not fall out of the race. Then we go back racing lap 13 with Hunter Nemechek leading the outside and Zane Smith on the inside. And Zane Smith made an incredible power move and was able to get around the lead and dominate the next couple laps. And then the next caution race come out lap 19 for Lost Allen, who spun from 23rd position after getting under Chase Purdy and clipping the apron. Chase Purdy also kind of came down on him, bringing out the next caution of this race. And then we saw a little bit of strategy in this race where some guys decided to stay out, including the second guy in the race, Hunter Nemechek, Matt DiBenedetto, Corey Heim, Chandler Smith, Timmy Hill, Chris Ryan, those who basically stayed out, while the rest leaders came down pit road. So on the restart, Hunter Nemechek lead from the outside, and Matt DiBenedetto on the inside, and Hunter Nemechek was able to lead. The farthest up of the guys with 4 tires who came down pit road was Grant Enfinger in 11th. Hunter Nemechek was able to keep the lead for a little bit. A lot of the fresh tire cars really started coming into play. Guys like Parker Kligerman and Grant Enfinger, Ben Rhodes were really starting to catch the race leader at the time. Parker Kligerman eventually got around all the guys who were not basically had the fresh tires. Then was able to get around Hunter Nemechek and was able to pull away, and he was able to come off the corner and win stage 1 here for Henderson Motorsports. This is his first career stage victory for him, so huge congratulations to him on that. He won the stage. All leaders would come down pit road with all of them taking 4 tires. If Ross Chastain basically leading off of pit road, Park Kligerman unfortunately would drop to 3rd, would not fall out of contention. Zane Smith would then have to come back down pit road due to basically fixing a spring rubber. His car was really having issues. He came back down pit road for a spring rubber change. On the restart, Ross Chastain lead the field from the outside and Carson Osipar on the inside. And we saw Ross Chastain able to clear Carson Osipar for the race lead. And then the next caution race to come out for Todd Bodine. Chase Purdy really slowed, and Tanner Gray unfortunately checked up. Chase Purdy made a really, really bad move going off of turn number 2. And then, like I said, he checked up. And Todd Bodine really had nowhere to go to try to avoid Tanner Gray and brought out the caution in this race. And then Hunter Nemechek, during this caution, he actually had to come down the road due to having a loose wheel. Luckily, they caught that and had the extra set of tires by staying out early. They really caught a good break right there because it was a good call. Then on the restart, he had Ross Chastain lead the field from the outside and Parker Kligerman on the inside. Parker Kligerman really tried to get the lead from Ross Chastain, but was not able to get it, and Ross Chastain was able to clear. Then we started seeing some guys who had some tire troubles in this race. Ty Majeski, about 4 or 5 laps into the race, run I should say, in this one, he came down pit road with a flat tire. Then also a few laps later, I believe it was Dean Thompson who also came down pit road with a flat tire as well. Then the next caution of the race would come out lap 73 for Tate Fogelman, who spun off of turn number 4 from 20th position, just lost it on his own and brought out the caution. He did save it and didn't get a lot of damage, but this would not be the last time that Tate Fogelman would run into problems in this race. And then we see all leaders come down pit road. Ross Chastain basically winning the race off pit road. But we saw some guys basically stay out, including Todd Bodine and Dean Thompson, who decided to stay out. So on the restart, Talbot and I lead the field from the outside and Ross Chastain on the inside. And we saw Ross Chastain able to clear for the race lead and was able to pull away. Meanwhile, Matt DiBenedetto, who was running 19, restarted 19, came down pit road because he had to change right side tires on his car and unfortunately went 2 laps down. And then Carson Osbar actually passed Ross Chastain for the lead. Carson had a much stronger car here in stage number 2. He was able to get around Ross Chastain. And he was able to come off the corner and also pick up his first career stage victory by winning stage 2 here at Darlington. Then we see all leaders come down pit road after the stage where we saw them all come down pit road. But Christian Eckes decided to had to base some contact with John Nemechek on pit road and damage the left front of the truck. And we saw Christian Eckes not very happy with Hunter Nemechek. He was very upset, but really you can't blame anybody on this situation. Well, you can blame spotters on both sides for basically not timing it properly. Then Christian Eckes would have to then come back down pit road to repair the left front fender. So on the restart, Rothstein lead the field from the outside and John Hunter on the inside. And we saw, I believe, Rothstein able to, at this point, clear for the race lead. Of course, the start was really, really strong. He was able to get around him, actually, and catch Rothstein, but could not make the pass, and Ross continued to lead. Then this next lap, we saw Tanner Gray have some problems having a cut tire after basically Chase Purdy got into him. And into turn number 2, we saw Anthony himself get into the back of him. We were 4 wide, and then the big one was strike in this race. Austin himself would get into the Chase Purdy. They would all spin out, and Haley Deegan had nowhere to go, bringing out the caution. Also, Chris Wright got some damage in that as well from that wreck. In my opinion, really just a rough situation for Tanner Gray. Unfortunately, like I said, he had a tire going down in the Truck Series race, and unfortunately brought the yellow out. So then on the restart, you have Ross Chastain lead the field from the green on the outside and John Hunter on the inside. And John Nemechek was able to hold the inside. And he got Ross Chastain actually was able to pass for the race lead. Then Ross Chastain then a lap later tried to get around John Nemechek, but they nearly wrecked going into turn number 2. But John Nemechek was able to hold on. We then keep going green for a while after some contact with Corey Hamm a few laps earlier. He unfortunately would have a flat tire that came loose right front tire, bringing out the caution in this race from 9th position. He was having a pretty strong run, not as good as he had last time we heard Darlington, but was really, really having a decent run and was unfortunately brought the caution out. And then on the restart, Christian Eckes, who actually basically took 2 tires, would actually lead the field from the outside, and Grant Enfinger on the inside. And we saw them battle for the lead, but Christian Eckes was able to hold on and keep the lead. And then the next lap, we saw incredible racing here in turn number 4. Grant Enfinger running second at a time. He got sideways after some contact with Hunter Nemechek, and Parker Kligerman avoided running into the back from before a crash would basically happen. And John Hunter eventually got around him for Christian Eckes for the lead. And then the next caution race to come out a lap later for Tate Fogleman and Blaine Perkins, who had a really, really weird incident. I think Tate Fogleman got into the back of Blaine Perkins. Blaine Perkins hit the outside wall really, really hard, and Tate Fogleman also got a ton of damage as well. Both of them, unfortunately, would follow the race after some contact. Really, really unfortunate situation for both those guys. Blaine Perkins especially really needed a good run. Has not had a good run this season, so he really needed that. When we came to the choose rows, it took so long for them. They wasted so many laps. We saw Ty Majeski actually run over the choose box, but he was not penalized for running over the choose box, which is really, really surprising. That's the first time I think someone has gotten away from running over the choose box and not getting a penalty. It was a major shock to me that that happened. So on the restart, John Nemechek lead the field from the outside and Carson Osbar on the inside. And John Nemechek got a great restart and was able to pull away from Carson Osbar. Looks like John Nemechek is basically going to run away with this thing. And then the final caution of this race come out lap 142 for Ben Rhodes, who had a flat tire and basically causing his car to spin out. And basically the rear of his truck unfortunately breaking apart, bringing out the final caution of this race. Ben Rhodes really wasn't having a great night to begin with. Really, unfortunately, ended his opportunity to be competitive. And then we saw a couple guys come down per road, Chandler Smith, Christian Eckes, and Derek Cross to get fresh tires. But unfortunately, there were so many less laps to go, and we were going to overtime because of this, that it really did not have an opportunity. And coming into the final restart, you had John Nemechek lead the field from the outside and Carson Osbar on the inside. Ross Chastain, I think, unfortunately, had a very major engine problem. He does not get going on a restart, checks everybody up. You have Carson Osbar, who's trying to battle him, John Nemechek, for the race lead, but John Nemechek is able to get ahead and pull a little bit away. Coming to the white flag, Hunter Nemechek has about a 4/10 of a second lead over Carson Osbar, and Carson tries to close and go into turn number 1, but unfortunately Carson does not have enough time. He tries to send to turn number 3, but is not able to clear, and coming off the corner after being so close to winning this year and having a lot of bad luck, John Hunter Nemechek comes off the corner and finally picks up his first victory of the 2022 season. The last one reached, John Hunter Nemechek has really been showing a lot of pace, and I know the first couple weeks were not great, but he's been finishing consistently in the top 4 the last 4 or 5 races, and I think that's what's really going to help John Hunter contend for a championship. He had the best truck all night, was extremely fast in practice. He was my pick coming into the weekend just because John Hunter was the fastest truck the last 2 times he'd been here at Darlington. He was due for a win here at this track, picking up I think it's his second ever victory at Darlington. So huge congratulations to John Nemechek on picking up the victory here. Let's go ahead and now take a look at the results for the Truck Series race at Darlington. So John Nemechek finishes first. Carson Osbar finishes second. I swear to God, when is the win going to come for Carson Osbar? He has been so close to winning so many times this year. This is the second straight race that Carson Osbar has finished second. I think it's going to be getting frustrated for him. The fact he's been so close to winning these races so many times, but he cannot capitalize on it. But I think a win is coming for that 42 truck. He's been really, really fast. Carson's definitely a really talented driver. Once again, outperformed his equipment, got a lot of stage points tonight, and really helped him in the playoff position, which is a great thing. Grant Enfinger finishes third. This is the most competitive Grant Enfinger has been all season. He's finally really starting to turn it up after really kind of a disappointing start to the year. This is the best I've seen Grant Enfinger perform this year. He ran top 5 or top 6 pretty much all night long and did an incredible job. Well-deserved top 5. He finishes in third. Ty Majeski finished fourth. Yes, he probably should have gotten a penalty, but despite having a tire go down at some point, bounced back to a very solid top 5 finish. Great run for Ty Majeski tonight. He needed another really good run considering where he's in the points. Great run for him. He finishes fourth. Matt Crafton finishes fifth. Matt Crafton ran around 3rd to 6th most of the night, which is really, really good to be consistent. Will help him in the playoff where he's at right now. Finished fifth. Good run for Matt Crafton. Parker Kligerman finished 6th. Again, Parker Kligerman once again outperforming his equipment once again every time he gets in the Truck Series. You know he's going to outperform his equipment and gets a very solid top 10 finish. When's a full-time ride coming for Parker? He should be a full-time driver in one of these series, respectively. I don't understand why he's not full-time. He did really good tonight, won a stage, and gets a very solid top 10 finish. Ryan Preece finished the 7th. Very solid run from Ryan Preece. I expected more from him, though. He really never really got higher than 7th or 8th most of the night. I don't think the truck really was that great, but he does get a solid top 10 finish with DHR Racing, trying to see if he can get a win in the Truck Series before potentially going full-time in the Cup Series in the 10-car next year with Stu Ross Racing. Does get a top 10 finish. Zane Smith finished 8th. After the early portion of this race, Zane Smith really was a nobody in the second half of this race. I really don't know what happened because, like I said, he was really good early in this race, but he still gets top 10 regardless and helps him out of the consistency. He finishes in 8th. Tyler Anker finished this 9th. Tyler Anker with a pretty decent run. He's really I think he's outside of the cutoff line right now. He's been really disappointing this year. I expected more from Tyler, but it is a good top 10 run regardless. And Todd Bodine finishes 10th. How about that for Todd Bodine? Only the second start he's been back in the Truck Series at 58 years old and gets us very great top 10 finish. Todd Bodine, after spinning out, was working his way slowly but methodically back up to the front, was really a top 15 truck most of the night too, so he absolutely deserves a top 10. Great run from Todd Bodine tonight. Matt DiBenedetto finished 11th. Pretty decent comeback for Matt DiBenedetto. I think Matty D had a top 10 truck. He probably should have finished in the top 10, but after his tire issues happened, he really never could get back up there. But he does get a top 15 finish, gets 11th place finish, especially after how bad he's been running the last 4 or 5 weeks. He really needed this run. Does get a solid top 15 finish. Stuart Friesen finishes 12th. I expected a little more from Stuart Friesen tonight, but he does get a top 15, which will be good for him going into the championship. Colby Howard finishes 15th. Very solid run, and Colby Howard really had a pretty good run going throughout this race. Really never ran outside the top 15. This is the best I've seen that 91 truck perform all season long. Colby's been needing a good run. Gets a very solid top 15 finish. Jesse Little gets a very solid top 15 finish. Great run from Jesse Little, who's only running part-time this season. Jesse always outperforms his equipment, so great to see him get a top 15. Dean Thompson with a very solid top 15 finish in 15th. Timmy Hill finishes in 16th. Christian Eggers, after coming down pit road late, finishes in 17th. Jack Wood finishes 18th, his best finish all year. Still not been a great year for Jack Wood. Derek Cross finishes in 19th. Lost Allen finishes 20th after spinning out early, basically trying to be indicative of that 24 car from 2007. Chandler Swift bounces back to 21st slightly. He was very quiet. It was a no-show all race long. That 18 truck was a no-show all weekend. Danny Bone finishes 22nd. Corey Heim finishes 23rd. 24th for Spencer Boyd. 25th for Ben Rhodes after his issues. 26th for Ross Hussein, basically after the motor laid down. He had one of the 2 or 3 best trucks all night. It's a shame he couldn't finish the deal, but finishes 26th. Austin Waysell finishes in 27th. Josh Graham still gets top 30 despite the issues early in the race. He finishes in 28th. Haley Deegan finishes 29th. Man, Haley Deegan has been struggling this year. She's been involved in a lot of wrecks, really are not her doing, but she's really getting tight on that owner's points position where she's going to have to qualify in these races, and finishing 29th is not going to cut it for her. She needs to start turning the season around, and it's just been a terrible year for her. She should not jump up to Xfinity next year. She needs another year in trucks. She has struggled this year horrendously. Brennan Poole finished the 30th, still bounced back top 30 after his early issues. 31st for Blaine Perkins, 32nd for Tate Fogland, 33rd for Chris Wright, 34th for Tanner Gray. Really had, unfortunately, a rough night tonight. 35th for Chase Purdy, and finishing last in 36th is Akinori Ogata. So now we'll talk about the race as a whole and give you my score of tonight's Truck Series race. I really enjoyed this race, and definitely this has been the best truck race of the season so far, especially in Stage 1. You had a lot of incredible battles for the race lead. You had guys getting sideways, out of control, and you really can see who's really talented and who is really not that talented, and that's what really shows here at a track like Darlington. Darlington always seems to put on a really good show. This race is miles better than last year's Truck Series is for that basically stupid ending happened where it was pretty much a disaster or it took much longer than it did. It was a very, very good race here tonight at Darlington, and the best truck won, which is the better thing, is having the best truck be able to win. My score of tonight's truck race, I'm giving tonight's Truck Series race a 9.5 out of 10. I thought it was that good of a race. The beginning was really, really good, and he had a lot of great restarts as well. The only thing that made this race not as good is there was a little bit of downtime in portions of this race, but outside of that, I thought it was a very enjoyable race. I'm giving it a 9.5 out of 10. So, anyway, that's going to be today's NASCAR Camp World Truck Series race view from Darlington. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel and notification on to be notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow my Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on page as well. Let's get below over that and comment your thoughts on tonight's Truck Series race view. What are your thoughts on tonight's truck race? Let me know below. Let me know your score in the comments below. And congratulate Hunter Nemechek on picking up his first Truck Series win of 2022. I'm not sure tomorrow if I'm going to have an Xfinity Series race view or not. I'm not sure if I'm working tomorrow or not, so there may not be a video on the channel tomorrow. But I know for sure you will see a Cup Series race view from a Southern, basically from the Goodyear 400 on the channel after the race is over. So anyway, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video, and I'll see you guys next time for very awesome NASCAR and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.